So you find me in my car on my way to my friend's house. She hadn't seen this car yet. Anyway, I'm going to introduce her to FSD and if possible, see if I can get her to drive FSD, and we'll go from there. See, so I made that trip into Cedar Park yesterday, so that I charged before I went, and I haven't recharged after that, so I'm at 64% state of charge. So that's why it already has 32 miles since last charge. But current trip is 0, and BFSD is also 0, so we'll use those to measure what we're doing. So anyway, let's see how it works out. It'll be interesting. Okay, so that was interesting. I went down Quinlan Park Road a little bit to see what it looks like. Turns out they have some construction a little bit further down, so that's probably not a good road necessarily to use for FSD experimentation. But anyway, what's interesting coming back, they have the drive lane, the lane for driving is blocked off with cones, and so they're putting you into the turn lane to keep going. The car, it got in the lane, but then it wanted to start signaling right, saying it wanted to switch lanes to a lane that's blocked off. So he didn't like that one bit. But anyway, whatever, it's fine. We're working it out. 38 miles to get here, 238 watt hours per mile. That's not bad at all. And I did figure out, so going from Lago Vista to Cedar Park, well, there's a couple of hills that you have to go up. That turns out those hills are hills you're going down coming into Lago Vista. So that may be the reason why there's such a difference in energy. But anyway, peace and harmony. Okay, so that was interesting. The current trip's 3 miles. Okay. So I got my friend to drive in FSD mode a little bit. Even got a video of it. It was interesting. I mean, she was really nervous about it, but I mean, she stuck with it. And once she got the idea of using the right scroll wheel to control the speed, she started getting more comfortable. I mean, other than a few little things, it was fine. You know, it's as I keep describing it, it's just a question of getting used to it, and eventually, you know, you get over your fears. So anyway, life is good. Let's go home. Okay, home again, jiggity jog. 26 miles from Ming's house. Allison through the stop at the bank. So, let's see, 219 watt hours per mile. That's pretty good, huh? So what I've noticed is it was throwing me off at first, but I figured out, well, when I'm going east out of Lago Vista, there's several hills I'm going up. Now, coming back, there's hills too, but so if you think of where my house is basic. I'm only a mile away from the lake, basically. I'm not sure how far it is directly. I think it's about a mile. But anyway, I'm just about at the flood level, the absolute full level of Travis, Lake Travis. My house is just above that level, really. So I have to climb up to get to 1431 from where I am. And then I have to climb up to get into Cedar Park. And Anderson Mill Lane is within Cedar Park, basically. So I have to go uphill to get there. So it makes sense that I'm using more energy to get there. But anyway, when I'm rolling downhill from Cedar Park, so to speak, oh yes, I'm gonna get great mileage. So 219 watt hours per mile, yes, I believe that. So the total trip today, 72 miles, 18 kilowatt hours. The average energy is 251 watt hours per mile, so that's still doing pretty good. All right. So FSD, as usual, is both great and frustrating as all get out. So today, for some reason, Andersonville. So those that don't know it, they're doing construction work on Andersonville to make it a 4-lane road, which is great when they're done. But they have all these barrels out. Their construction space is pretty tight, actually. So for some reason, it declared instead of being a 45 zone, the car said it was 40 mile per hour zone. And just as I'm coming basically to the end of the 4-lane construction part, then all of a sudden declared it was 25 miles per hour. And I think what that means is it lost its head on what the miles per hour was. So it treated it as a city street. City streets are 25 miles per hour by default, which I've found out driving around Lago Vista with autopilot. It defaulted to 25. Just like the street right in front of my house, it says it's 25 miles per hour. Now everybody here treats it as 30, but I think legally it is 25. Anyway, whatever, it's all good. So so there's a few places where, for whatever reason, FSD decided to slow down. I have no idea why. I think it was just being weird about it. Whatever it is, it's okay. So there's several times they were to slow down for unexpected reasons. But discounting the I don't like your attitude, so I'm gonna go 5 miles an hour on the speed limit, and then sooner or later it gets over it. And of course, at one point, I just said, no, I'm done with you for now. I shifted to neutral position, which turns off the FSD, and then let it go, which returns to just regular drive. So still, overall, I think FSD is pretty good. And actually, one of the points of today's trip was to give Ming a chance to try out FSD in my car. Okay, so those of you who haven't been paying attention, if you've seen a red Model 3, that's actually her car. Her car does not have FSD on it. I don't know that they will get to that point anytime soon, but she has mentioned that one of the hopes she has is when she's getting old and not so able to handle her car anymore, that she can have FSD drive her around. So there is that thought in the back of her mind somewhere. So I did have her try out FSD. We just drove down to actually what we did was we drove a block on FSD just to get her used to it, which other than, you know, she's not used to letting the computer control the car, but she quickly got over that to some extent. And so we drove to a pool, which was a couple of miles from her house, and that went mostly okay. She still has some getting used to or experience to gain yet, but she was paying attention and she was learning. So she was actually doing pretty good. So there you go. I mean, that's pretty awesome, actually. We'll deal with the rest of it later. I mean, I have FSD in my car, so there's plenty of chances to try it out. So there you go. So at least there's a fair amount of success, and my continuing relationship negotiation with my car continues to be negotiated, but it is what it is. I'm mostly happy I have a car with FSD. That's actually a good thing. It's just getting used to it, and hopefully at some point they'll come out with a software version where it's much more comfortable. But that's not here now. That's not here right now. But it's in beta form, right?